Hello lovelies, how are you all doing today? I do hope you are well. I am just kind of wanting the sunshine to come back. We've had some gorgeous sunny days recently. The temperature goes up, everything's brighter, it's lovely. So back in my hoodie today and yeah, oh well, it's intermittent. Make the most of it when it's with us, and when it's not with us, put another layer on. So I thought today I'd have a bit of a catch up with you about I was going to call them New Year's resolutions. They're not really that, because some started last year, some this year, but if I say New Year's resolutions, you'll understand what I mean in terms of changes I have made in my life to hopefully improve my life. And the reason I thought I'd have a chat about it today is because folk have been asking. I think folk have been particularly interested in me having quit sugar, so we'll have a little dive into that. And just to say about quitting sugar, because it actually that ball started rolling last summer. I'll tell you how and why. But I think it's only been in this year that I've sort of said anything to you guys, officially. That's it. No, I think it was before Christmas. I said I was like cutting down or quitting, and I got quite a bit of chocolate for Christmas, which was really lovely, and I enjoyed it. But I sort of said to myself after Christmas, well, that's it, no more sugar. And I think I probably decided to say it out loud here, because you are all such lovely people. Occasionally someone sends me a bar of chocolate if I've had a bad day, which is so kind. But I don't want chocolate anymore. I mean, I do, but I don't. Now, when I did announce it, at whatever point it was, I got a comment from someone, and I want to clarify on this straight away. This person said, "Why are you giving up something that you really like? You will just to live longer, but you will live miserably." That's not why I've quit sugar. I haven't quit sugar to live longer. I've quit sugar to live to live more healthily. I'm at an age now where I don't recover from things as quickly as I used to. My body is slowing down, all my organs, or all the organs which deal with cleaning me and detoxing me, if you like, liver, kidneys. Everything does start to slow down. Now, I don't consider myself old. I'm not. But in terms of a machine, the human body, my machine is getting older, so I need to treat it with a bit more care and a bit more respect. So it's not about living longer, it's just about living well. I don't want to be an unnecessary burden on the NHS if I can possibly help it. I want to enjoy life to the fullest, and to do that, we need to be healthy to enjoy life to the fullest, or at least that's for me. And as for living miserably, the house move thing is miserable, but apart from the house move, I am not miserable. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that straight away, that the reason for doing it's just about being more healthy and being the healthiest I can possibly be. So there's all sorts of other resolutions, but let's just talk about the sugar thing to begin with, because it actually started last summer, well, just as we went into autumn. Confession time now. It had long been a habit of mine, particularly on a Saturday, on an allotment day. Saturday was quite often an allotment day for me, and particularly in the summer. One of my little treats was to, on my way to the garden, to buy an ice cold can of Coca-Cola. Oh my goodness, I love an ice cold can of Coca-Cola, especially if it's a work party day. We're all, hot, sweaty, grunting, doing the work. And wow, there's nothing more refreshing than that cold Coke after 2 or 3 hours of huffing and puffing. So that was my little once a week treat. On a Saturday, I'd have my can of Coke. And then I started to have one in the middle of the week as well, you know, because I used to go to the plot 3 or 4 times a week, depending on my nursing schedule, depending on, you know, my great aunt schedule, but probably 3 or 4 times a week. And sometimes in the summer, I would go to the garden first thing in the morning on my way to the train station to go to my great aunt, because I'd need to water. The point is, it started to be that every now and again, it would be the middle of the week and I'd think, oh, I'll get a can of Coke. Anyway, I won't go into the full history. You get where this is going. It starts to become an addiction. These things are addictive. I've started to read a book, which I'll tell you about further down, when I finished it, further down the line, but about sugar being, after all the kind of the known drugs, the drugs we know about, the heroin, crack, all that kind of stuff, sugar is pretty much the most addictive substance. And that's what happened. I slid into an addiction for my cans of Coke. But at the time, they were, I can't remember how much they were, about 79 pence a can. And then I decided, oh, you know, I'm having too much of this, I need to cut down. So I started going, at Lidl, they sell, it's like a little skinny can. So a regular size can is 330 mils. Those skinny cans are 250. So I thought, I'll do the 250 can, and I'll do it from Lidl because it's cheaper. And at the time, I think they were about 29p as opposed to 69 or 79 for the full size Coke. And then I didn't really like the taste of them, and I sort of slid sideways into their energy drinks. Vile things. So that's what I was doing. I was having those little cheapy tins, going to the garden. It's like, oh, it's so refreshing, brilliant, and oh, it keeps me going for a few more hours. Basically, it's just a massive sugar hit. And then it got to the stage where I'd go to the garden and I'd take 2 of those little tins, and I'd think, well, I'll take a sugar one and a sugar-free one, then it won't be so bad. That's the point. And then it started to be that even on days when I wasn't going to the garden, I wanted one of those cans of drink. Like I said, they are vile things, they are addictive, don't ever touch them. And now I think in terms of, say, something like the Coca-Cola, even the sugar-free ones, I think I just don't want to ever drink one ever again, because I know how addiction works. And I think I have an addictive personality. For me, things are all or nothing, more of that in a second. Anyway, the point was that by last summer, I was having one of those tins, sometimes 2, almost every day. I was probably having 6 or 7 a week. So there'd be days when I wouldn't have any at all, and there'd be another day when I'd have 2. And I just decided one day, I thought, this is ridiculous. This is dictating my life now. This is ruling me. I sort of get up in the morning and I think, I need one of those drinks, right? I'll go out, even before I'm properly awake, I'll go out and get myself one of those drinks. And also the price had crept up, and I think it was up to like 39, 40p. Times that by 7. And okay, that's still, it's less than £3 in the week, but when you're a frugal girl, £3 on unnecessary junk. So I woke up one morning and I thought, that's it, stop. I'm going to stop having those drinks. And I did. And I did it cold turkey. So in terms of cold turkey, as in just stopping completely, there's no weaning off process. I know all about weaning. My work at the hospital, a lot of our kids are on really strong opioids, morphine, fentanyl, ketamine, all these things. And when the kids come off those, it has to be done gradually. We have to wean them off, taper them off that drug. Because if you just stop those drugs in one go, horrible side effects, it's dangerous. Don't do it. Don't do it, kids. But yeah, I felt with the fizzy drinks, yeah, cold turkey. And for about 4 days or so, it was horrible. I would go to bed in the evening thinking, I'm not going to have that kick in the morning. I'm not going to have it. Oh, tomorrow's going to be horrible because I'm not going to have my kick. And then I get up in the morning and I'd think, oh, this is horrible. I need my kick. Ah. But honestly, after about 4 days of misery, I kind of got over the worst of it. Now, of course, the other thing, excuse me, I need to blow my nose. Oh, that's better. I was getting a bit warm as well. The sun's coming around. Yes, so those first few days were horrible, but always, this is something I've said in a lot of my videos about doing something that's tough, but it's for a good goal, like saving money, always putting money away. And it's like, sometimes it feels tough to do that, but when you know what your goal is and you've got a fantastic goal like moving house, it makes it easier. So I just kept reminding myself that I would, physically, my wellness, I would be so much better off without putting that junk into my body anymore. And it's crazy because, generally speaking, everything I put into my body is the majority of what I put into my body is so good and so healthy. Homegrown, oh, sorry, excuse me, I don't know why I've got this itch today. Homegrown organic veggies, gorgeous. My diet is, it's a whole food diet. I cook everything from scratch. How mad to do all that wonderful sort of groundwork with my diet and then do something stupid like drink junk. The other thing that helped, so going cold turkey, that worked for me. 4 days horrible, and then I would say it took me about 2 more weeks. So it's about 2.5, getting on for 3 weeks before I stopped thinking about it at least once a day. In the first few days, it was all I thought about. But after a week or so, yes, I thought about it in the morning because I'd get up and think, oh yeah, I'm not going to have that today, am I? But then after about 3 weeks or so, I stopped thinking about it, which is great. And the other thing was at that time, of course, so it was the 28th of August, I remember it. And that's why I was saying these aren't New Year's resolutions. There's been all sorts of things that I've been gradually changing, things I've been putting into place because I want this new, better, shinier life for myself when I move. Let's start the process now so that once I've moved, I hit the ground running, sort of thing. And at the time of stopping those drinks, of course, I was really busy doing the final touches to the flat to get it ready. I think it was the 2nd of February that I had estate agents come to value the place. So I think it was good timing for me. I was really busy. I didn't have time to think too much about quitting those drinks. And then came so the whole of September in a way was, getting the flat ready for the estate agents, then getting it ready for the photographer and getting all those images ready to go to the estate agent's shop window, as it were. And it continued to be a really busy but really positive month. And, by the 21st, I had the offers in on the flat. And so all the things that I'd been thinking about all year in terms of changes, in a way, that's what got things really going and really moving, because I thought, if I'm going to go through the stress of, giving things up or trying to change habits, because it can be quite stressful, mild, on the scale of stress, but it can be a little bit stressful trying to change habits. So I thought, let's start things now rather than right when I'm in the middle of the move, when it's going to be really stressful. Let's start now. Little did I know that this was going to go on so long and that the move itself would become so stressful. But again, as I've mentioned before, I think actually all these changes I've been doing, I think they've actually really helped me deal with the stress of the move. I look back now and I think, wow, how have I managed to do all this with all that stress of the move? But in a way, because I was so focused on all these different things, it sort of kept me distracted. Actually, it kept me distracted and it's kept me busy so that I don't spend all day thinking about this blasted move. So So that was the sugary drinks, the fizzy drinks, back at the end of August. And throughout September, I was thinking more and more, actually, I should just get sugar out of my life completely, because it's not good for us. It's just not good for us. That same person commented saying, no one ever died from liking sugar. Well, actually, type 2 diabetes is one of the biggest killers in this country. That's not to say that if you get type 2 diabetes, it's going to kill you. You can manage it, and you can manage it really well with diet. My great aunt, Auntie Teapot, she was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, I think in her 50s, but she never ever in her whole life ever had to have pharmaceutical help with it. She managed it completely with diet alone. Her bowl of porridge every morning, literally every morning of her entire life, she had a bowl of porridge, and that really helps with controlling blood sugars. So I'm back on porridge every morning, for example. But yeah, it's, yes, so sugar can kill. So over the course of that autumn and into the winter, I should preface this by saying I don't have a lot of sugar in my diet. So it might be that this has been easier for me than it might be for others. It depends where you're at and what you eat. So for example, I'm really not one for biscuits, cakes, donuts, flapjack. I'm suddenly wanting all these things now. I like those things. I love biscuits and cakes. I'm a normal human being. I love those things. It's high fat, high sugar. That's what all of us really, really enjoy. I just don't buy them. I don't have them in the house. And it doesn't bother me to not have them. If I'm at a friend's place, like a couple of Christmases ago at Richard and Paul's, Richard had made some beautiful shortbread. Would I like some? Yes, I'm going to have it from time to time. I like it, thank you. But on a day-to-day basis in my life here at the Cottage in the Sky, I don't buy cakes, biscuits, donuts, any of that kind of thing. But I do like... And again, you think to yourself, well, it's just once a week, it's a treat on a Sunday afternoon maybe. Jam on toast. I love a bit of jam on toast. Blackcurrant or raspberry, those really tangy, tart flavours on a bit of toast, really buttery, oozy toast, or on crumpets. I love it. But again, it's that thing of it's a once a week treat, and then you think, or I think Wednesday evening, I'm feeling a bit down in the dumps. It's not a great week so far. Oh, I know, I'll cheer myself up with some jam on toast. And before you know it, you're having jam on toast twice a week. So, over the autumn, I had a bit of jam left, only a little bit in the bottom of a jar, and I thought, well, I'll finish that over the course of the next couple of months, but I won't replace that jam in the cupboard. I had a bit of honey, because I quite often have honey and lemon juice. I'm now getting chilly again. Honestly, it's this time of year, isn't it? It's the weather. The sun comes out and it's lovely. The second the sun goes in, it's proper chilly willies again. So I had a bit of honey, because I would have honey and lemon as a drink, if I'm feeling a bit like I might be getting a cold, or sometimes just have it in the morning as a wake-up drink. So again, I had a bit of honey left, finished that, didn't replace it. I'm trying to think, but the big thing for me was going to be, because I was thinking about breakfast and meals and all that, having porridge in the morning. What on earth am I going to have on my porridge without sugar? Try it with the cinnamon. Oh my goodness, it's lovely, and it's more than enough. That's perfectly fine for me. I don't need any other toppings. I know we talked about this before as well. Folk have suggested all sorts of fruit to put on top. I don't need it. I love my porridge just with my cinnamon. So, in a nutshell, that's it. I've quit sugar. I had the bits of chocolate over Christmas and I thoroughly enjoyed them. And I promised myself the minute that those bits of chocolate, and also, if you remember, I bought myself some sweets. I bought some Parma violets and, was there something else? I'm sure I bought sweet treats with my treats for a tenner, but I promised myself once they're gone, that's it, no more. And I've been really good. I haven't had, literally this year, since the 1st of January, I have had no refined sugar in my diet. I should have been clear about that as well. I'm talking about refined sugars. Obviously, I still eat fruit, and there is sugar in fruit. There is a certain amount of sugar in vegetables. You know, carrots are a higher sugar vegetable. Peas are, you know, all those vegetables which are sweet to eat. I'm not talking about those naturally occurring sugars in our fruits and veg, just the refined sugars that get added to so much stuff. So the fizzy drinks were cold turkey. Then throughout the autumn, I finished off what little bits of sugar I had in the house in the form of a bit of jam and a bit of honey. Had my sweet treats over Christmas, and then that's it, completely stopped. So folk have asked me how I've done it, that's how I did it, and also how do I feel. And I don't know if the way I feel at the moment is just because of the sugar or it's a bit of everything. Keeping an eye on the time because I'm trying to keep videos shorter these days. So the other thing, just to quickly say, I'm going to talk about how I feel. I feel good. I feel good in a nutshell. How many things are on my list that have changed? There's a whole lot of stuff. I won't go into all of it because some of it's deeply personal. You don't need to know. But one of the other things I'm a sucker for, a real sucker for, is salty snacks. Oh my God, I love salty snacks. Crisps, nuts, Twiglets. I love those things. Now, crisps. I don't buy crisps because I know that if I buy crisps, I'm going to, like, you know, those share bags. I know full well if I buy a bag like that, I'm going to eat it in one sitting. I cannot stop when it's crisps. So therefore, I don't buy them. I don't have them in the house. If I go to someone else's house, Richard and Paul will tell you this, when I've been to their house and they get one of those share bags, tip it into a bowl, put it on the coffee table, offer it around, I always say no. Because if I have just one of those evilly delicious little crunchy things, I won't be able to stop. So I'm very good when it comes to things like crisps and Twiglets. I just don't buy them. But salted nuts, oh my goodness, what a treat. Salted cashews, salted pistachios, even salted peanuts. And again, it's one of those things that can creep up on one. It's that thing of, oh, I'm having a rotten week, I'm doing my weekly shop, oh, my weekly shop is only 12 quid, go on, I'll chuck a bag of salted pistachios in, because they're like 3 quid a bag or something. And that evening, let's say it's a Saturday evening, I think, oh, you know, it's a treat to myself because I've had a tough week, whatever, or I've done really well this week, whatever, you know what it's like. We make an excuse to have the treat, and before you know it, I'll eat the whole bag in one sitting. So I also decided to quit all salty snacks. Now, I make it sound like all I do all day is eat salty snacks and sugary things, and so I hope it's clear that that wasn't the case. So in a way, it's a small change for me because apart from the sugary drinks, apart from the fizzy drinks, that was almost once a day. But all the other stuff, jam, crisps, whatever, probably once a week, twice a week at absolute most. The salty stuff, I'd say once a week, once a fortnight even. But anyway, so they have gone too, because the thing for me is I'm a bit all or nothing. I find it really hard to have a little bit of something that I really, really like. I want it all. I find it easier to not have it at all. But that's just me. So in terms of how I feel, that's what I mean about it's hard to extrapolate. Do I feel good because I've quit sugar? Do I feel good because I've quit salt in those salty snacks? Because also I don't add salt to my food, which is the other craziness of it. And some people might say, oh, well, that means you're craving it, Vivi. No, just it's the snack. I know that I have enough salt in my diet. I know the salt content of my vegetables and all of that kind of stuff. one of undoubtedly the big changes, and the food comes into this, they all tie in with each other, so you'll have to excuse me if I'm going all over the place somewhat. One of the big changes is this whole bedtime routine of going to bed by 11 o'clock. It's kind of settled down now to being 11. I had originally aimed for 10. Some days I was doing 10, some 10:30. 11 o'clock seems to be the time that's... I've got into enough of a routine of it now so that by 11 o'clock I think, actually I do feel quite sleepy. Great. And I'm still getting up at 7:30, no matter how little sleep I've had, I still get up at 7:30. So, in line with my day used to be, I'm trying to imagine your screen, if this is 9 a.m. and this is 9 p.m, my work day was down here, here. So, my food would sit with that too. But now, of course, my day has shifted earlier, so I've shifted my eating. I've also tried to... how to explain it? I get very distracted by work, and I don't always hear my hunger cues. So if I'm in the garden, in the old days, I could quite easily work in the garden from 8 in the morning till 5, 6 in the afternoon, early evening, and I wouldn't eat all day. It just wouldn't occur to me. I don't feel hungry. I'm in the middle of the work, I'm all distracted. So what I'm now doing is, no matter what work I'm doing, no matter where I am, what I'm up to, I'm not properly dressed since I put my cardi on. It doesn't matter what's going on, I have 3 set meal times now. And I have to plan around it. So if I've got an appointment, if I have to be out, I need to plan it so that, right, how do I fit that lunchtime meal in? It's going to have to be a portable meal. So if I'm up at the hospital for my appointment, right, well, that meal comes with me and I have to find somewhere quiet, go and sit in the park after the appointment, eat my packed lunch, as it were. So set meal times. So 3 meals a day, proper meals a day, plus snacks. I'm always going to be a snacker. I'm typically a grazer when it comes to eating. I eat small meals frequently throughout the day, but I'm kind of I'm basing it all around the 3 meals of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, supper. So no sugar, set meal times, no salty snacks, although I don't think they were a really big part of it. The set routine with sleeping, the journaling, the to-done list instead of to-do. I've got my journal. This was one I started a couple of years ago. This is now my book journal. I'm going to make another video today about some bits and bobs, but so it's a journal like this, just see, a page a day. And rather than it being my to-do list is on a scrap of paper on the pin board. I make a note through the journal, sometimes as I go through the day, but what I've done, what I've achieved. And all these things together seem to be really helping in terms of just keeping me on a more even keel. I achieve what I need to achieve, but also when there are days when I think, oh, I feel a bit today, I can look back and think, wow, the previous 3 or 4 days have been really long, productive days. I've done a ton. So actually, maybe this is just a bit of natural tiredness because it's been so busy. And actually, bearing in mind how busy those 4 days were, maybe I can take my foot off the gas a bit today and have an easier day. I'm not going to sit around and do nothing. I can't do that. But I can just go a little bit easier. So having that journal to look back on, psychologically, it's been a massive boost. I can see, yes, I'm being productive. I can see where my energy is. And back to the sugar things, I think the biggest thing I've noticed this year is my energy levels on a more even keel. I think something I haven't talked about a huge amount, but for years and years I've been struggling with chronic fatigue syndrome. and it has all sorts of machinations. And I've long thought that this ought to be something within my control. I ought to be able to do something about this. And I think this concerted effort from all directions of just all these changes, and there are, like I said, there's quite a few I haven't even talked about, and I'm not going to because they're too personal, but I think a combination of all of them have helped in terms of dealing with the chronic fatigue. I'm definitely feeling more energetic more of the time. So my energy used to be like this. So when the energy's up, quick, do your video, do your batch cooking, do the garden, do a load of sewing, whatever it is, and then, crash. I'm not getting that now. It's more, there are still peaks and troughs to my energy. Of course there are. But the crashes aren't so great anymore, which is fantastic. It's just great. I feel like I can work all day without utterly exhausting myself now, which is brilliant. So I feel like all these things I've done, I'm curing my own chronic fatigue. And I think the chronic fatigue originally came out, it's sort of a post-viral chronic fatigue. I had 3 really big, really nasty viruses in the space of 11 months that so wiped me, and I've been wiped from them for the intervening years. Finally, I'm starting to, feel like I'm getting me back. I'm getting my body back. I'm getting my energy back. I'm getting my mind back. And like I said, I feel all of this is particularly miraculous considering the stress of this darned move. The other thing about the set meal times, right, I'm going to wrap up now. Just to say, the thing with the sort of the set meal times, and I've mentioned this recently anyway when I've been sharing my sort of food for a day videos or even shopping, this idea of taking time to, before one even starts to cook, to look at all these beautiful ingredients and think, gosh, isn't nature amazing, creating these gorgeous, nature tweaked by humans, but this bounty we get, and things are beautiful, and to take a moment to admire the beauty of the veg and to appreciate them and to be grateful for them. The thing about having, say, the 3 set meal times and the set bedtime and the set time in the evening at 7:30 to begin my relaxation period, and it might sound a bit rigid to some people, and I would have certainly said a year ago, oh no, that's way too rigid for me. I'm more floaty, airy, fairy. I just float through my day. So yes, it is rigid, but with that rigidity, in a way, comes moments of freedom. And how to explain it? So with my meal times in particular, they are these wonderful sort of punctuation marks through the day, and I really look forward to them now. So instead of cooking and eating being a chore that I've got to fit in amongst everything else, they are now moments in my day that I really look forward to and I really relish, and I really take time with them. So as I'm preparing my lunch or my supper, even if it's come out of the freezer, just that time in the kitchen of, selecting which crockery I'm going to eat from. And I have lovely crockery. I've got actually probably, I was going to say too much crockery. No, can't have too much crockery. But the pleasure of deciding which crockery I'm going to use. The sensation of the room getting a little warmer as I turn the gas on. Enjoying those first wafts of the smells of my food as it starts to heat up, if it's something from the freezer, or the smell of the oil and the spices warming if I'm cooking it from scratch. So all these sensations, I'm allowing myself to just have that moment to enjoy them. And then obviously once the food is prepared, sitting and eating slowly, enjoying it, and enjoying my time off. That's, when I was working as a nurse, oh my God, I used to love my lunch break. We didn't always get a lunch break. And sometimes I'd only get 20 minutes instead of the full hour. But by God, by sort of 1, 2 o'clock, when you've been on your feet for 6 hours already, oh, just so look forward to it. It's just that moment of, I'm away from the clamour and the noise of the ward. I always used to leave the ward, go outside, even in the rain, go outside, brolly, eat my packed lunch on a park bench, take a newspaper to sit on. Just that pause in the day, away from the craziness of the ward, the alarms that constantly sound, the being on my feet. Stop, 20 minutes in the park, the quiet. Yes, there's traffic noises in the distance and kids playing in the distance, whatever, but it's that quiet time to just stop. Well, what I'm doing now, in a way, is recreating that for myself, of these moments of the day to just pause, to put the day on pause. I stop, I take my time, I enjoy my food, really enjoy it. I'm loving my food again at the moment. Breathe, twiddle my thumbs, sit back, daydream for 10 minutes, and then get back to work. So it's a whole picture. So yes, I have quit sugar and I feel good for it. But I think it's that whole picture in a nutshell. The bedtime routine, the relaxation routine from 8:30 in the evening, quitting the sugar, doing my journal, my done it journal rather than the to-do list. One of the other things on my list, there's a cross next to it, is my 1 day a week off. Still haven't quite managed that. I've got it to half a day. So generally on a Saturday, about 4 o'clock, from 4 o'clock through to bedtime, that's it, I'm off. I might end up, the plan is for it to be the whole of Saturday, or it could be Sunday. It doesn't matter, but one of those weekend days. I think part of that is, obviously this house move is keeping me on my toes and keeping me busy. I'm forever writing emails and being on the phone, and then even when the phone call is finished, I'm distracted for hours afterwards by it, and probably that is making me slightly less productive than normal. But yeah, I think I'm heading in the direction where I hope by the end of this year, by the summer even maybe, that promise to myself of 1 day off a week, which I've been promising myself for the last 8 years, that is going to happen too. So yeah, it's all good. What do I say here? Oh yeah, so that thing with the day, having the other thing that I've lacked for the last 8 years since I quit working for someone else, working in a traditional job, was having a daily routine. And those meal times, the bedtime, the relaxation time, great. They're giving me structure to my day. They're giving me routine. And in terms of a weekly routine, like I said, that Saturday, it's not quite there yet as a day off, but it's shaping my week. So I know that on Saturday, about 4 o'clock, that's it. Whatever is going on, I stop. That's my free time, reading, DVDs, whatever. It doesn't matter. But that is time off. Getting there. So yes, I think quitting sugar has helped me. This could have been a 2-second video. Quitting sugar has been beneficial to me. Look, with all of you and all of your New Year's resolutions, I hope you're still sticking with them. I hope, not bigging myself up, but I hope that if you see me and I'm obviously well and happy despite the craziness of this house situation. Honestly, I think if I hadn't got all this stuff in place by now, I would just be an absolute nervous wreck at the moment. I would be depressed. I know I'd be depressed by all of this, but because I've got everything in place, that depression, there's days when I'm down, but I'm not depressed. So I hope by seeing me achieving my goals and my New Year's resolutions, that it's an encouragement to all of you, so that if you have fallen off the wagon, as it were. Oh, and talking of the wagon, I'm not drinking either. So with alcohol, so I had my Prosecco from Sarah and Ian at Christmas, followed by a couple of glasses of wine, then used the leftover wine for a risotto just in the new year. before that, I think November, I'm trying to remember, but I think in November I'd had a pint in November at the pub. I just haven't felt like it. I thought, you know what, I don't need it. I am meeting up with friends soon, so I think we're going to meet in the pub. So yeah, I'll have a couple of pints when I go out and see my friends, but I'm not bothering to, like with this whole house process. This is what I mean about the depressing. Oh, shut up, Vivi, quick, get on. You know, in the past, I would have gone, oh, with no question, that would have been a bottle of wine on a Saturday night. I deserve it because I'm dealing with so much stress. And that would have probably been every Saturday for this year so far. And I've just thought, no, I don't need it. It's fine. I'm happy without. So, but it's not, I'm not saying I'm never going to have a glass of wine again or a pint in the pub, not at all. I just haven't felt the need for it. That's great. Helps the bank balance, helps keep me on an even keel, etc., etc. So right, now it is time to go. Yes, your New Year's resolutions, I hope they're going well, but if you have fallen off the wagon, that's what I was trying to say, just keep getting back on, just keep getting back on, and keep remembering what's your long-term goal with it. If your long-term goal, for instance, is to quit smoking, then keep trying to give up, keep at it, because that is probably the best goal you could possibly have in your entire life if you're a smoker, is to quit smoking. If your goal is to adjust your diet, like me, to be healthier and to massively lower your risk of things like diabetes type 2, and you've succumbed and had a few sweet treats last weekend, fine, okay, draw a line, move on. Just recommit to it and say to yourself, that's it, no sugar for me, or whatever it is. Exercise. Has your exercise regime fallen by the wayside? Here we are towards the end of March. We're 3 months in. If you've stuck with it, you might already be doing your 5K. You've gone from couch to 5K. 3 months, it's doable. But you might, after 2 weeks, have given up because it was horrible in the winter, in the dark, and the weather. Well, guess what? It's spring now. The evenings are a bit lighter, we're a bit warmer. Maybe it's time to dust off the running shoes and give it another go because it's more pleasant at this time of year. Just don't give up. Don't give up. Keep picturing your goal, what you want to achieve. And every time you fall off, just get back up, get back on it, and give it another go, because at some point it will become habit. It will become your new habit, and your bad habit, that old bad habit, you'll have broken it and stopped it, and new you. Yes, good. New me for my new home. That's what I want. I will see you all again really soon. I was going to say, I'm not sure for what, but I'm going to carry on filming today. I will see you for the next one when the next one is filmed in a couple of days. But until then, please look after yourselves. Be encouraged, be inspired. Get on with making your goal happen. Until the next time, cheerio.